All right, well, happy Friday, guys. Mina is down for her nap and the house is a little bit quiet, so you and I are gonna make lavender jelly for the very first time. I've never made this before. I've been wanting to make it for about a year now, and so today there's no better day than today to do it. So I'm going to bring you along for all of the steps. A lot of people have asked me, you know, I know I've made videos about it too, my setup and my cleanup after I can, but I'm going to show you quickly just little shots of my entire process from start to finish, from a quiet kitchen to a very busy kitchen and to kind of cleaning up. So let's go make some lavender jelly. I'm so excited. Okay guys, so the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to turn this on to a high heat. I'm using my cast iron enameled pot, and I'm going to add 3.5 cups of water to this. And this is what we are going to make our tea with. We are using lavender. This is culinary lavender, but you can definitely use fresh lavender off of your flower plant if you have one. I'm using, of course, dried, but we have to make a tea first. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil, and just as it comes to a boil, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our lavender, and we're going to let this steep for 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead, let this boil up, and in the meantime, I'm going to fill my canner and get that going, and get my jars washed. So let's go over to the sink. Okay guys, so the first thing I want to do, and for anyone who hasn't been following me on my Facebook or Instagram, Mama got a new sink, which I'm extremely excited about. If I can remember, I will insert a picture of my old sink here for you guys. It was super shallow, and the water sprayer was broken on it, and the faucet was really loose, and it was really hard just to, you know, just to use it and to function with that sink. So I found this sink on Craigslist for $50, which I think is, my find of the year. So Matt got it for me and put it in, and we had to redo all the plumbing. It was a nightmare. It took 2 days, but my husband is an angel, and I just love him so much. And now check this out, my canning pots fit in my sink. This is like beyond exciting for me. Just being able to function with a large sink that I can use with canning. So anyway, I thought I would input that in case things look different, which they do, much better in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and fill my water bath canner with hot water. I'm just gonna lower my rack for now. And then on this side of the sink, I'm going to go ahead and fill this with hot soapy water, where I'm going to wash my jars, and then I'm going to transfer them right into my canner. We're going to get the canner on the stove, we're going to get it to a boil, and all that fun stuff, and kind of prep our jars, because while my water is boiling to make that tea, we might as well get our jars in here and get everything sterilized. So let's fill the canner. Alright guys, now I'm just going to go ahead, and I've got my canning jars here. I'm going to use 5 half pints. I got the lids, I've got the rings. I'm just going to take them apart and place my jars in this hot soapy water here. Now I always clean my jars before I put them on the shelf, so they're already clean, but it's always good, especially when you water bath can, because you're not pressure canning. Pressure canning will sterilize your jars anyway, but when you water bath can, that is not the case. The water never gets hot enough. So you want to make sure that you're really careful and wash them really well again, and then of course sterilize them in your water canner, your water bath canner, while you're processing and prepping everything. So I'm going to just fill up my sink here and get to washing my jars. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and really wash these jars well. Give them a good rinse. Make sure you check your rings. Make sure there are no nicks of any kind. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my jar. A good time to inspect your jars. Make sure they are fine. Alright, then what we're going to do is I'm going to lower these. They'll all go down. My pot is full of hot water, so be careful. I've got asbestos fingers. So hot water usually doesn't bother me much anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I can see there's way over an inch, but I'm just going to fill my canner up to this rim anyway, because that's where I like it when I can. So I'm going to take this over to my stove, and I'm going to turn this on high. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and this too will boil for 20 minutes. I'm also going to add my utensils to this, the scoop that I'm going to use, the debubbler that I'm going to use, just to make sure that everything is sterilized that goes with my jelly. Anything that touches my jelly is going to be sterilized. So, with that said, let's take this over to the stove, get everything boiling for 20 minutes, and I will be back when we are to that point. Okay, now our water has just come to a boil. And we are going to add a half a cup. Now this is 3.5 cups of water. We are adding a half a cup of lavender. And we're just going to sprinkle that in. And then with a stainless steel spoon, whenever you're canning, you want to use stainless if you can. No wood, no plastic, anything that can hold the bacteria in it. And we're just going to go ahead and let that, now I turned off the heat, I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Then we're going to strain that, and that is what we are going to use to can. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, so my my lavender has actually been steeping for 30 minutes, and now I'm going to strain it. So use a strainer, use cheesecloth if you have some. I thought I had some, but I must be out because I can't find it for the life of me. But most importantly, make sure you put a pot underneath your strainer, and don't pour it out and forget to put a pot, because I have done that once. When I first started canning, I was so flustered on trying to remember everything that I actually forgot to put a pot underneath what I was straining. So go ahead and strain that. Now on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to rinse out those remaining little dried flowers, because we're going to be canning back in this pot here. Alright, so I'm going to put this back on the stove, and then I'm going to gently lift this up, and it might still have some flowers in there, so make sure I get all that juice out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to strain this again and get as many of the little buds as I can out. And then as soon as I'm done, I'll be putting it back in my pot, and then I'll bring you guys back. So these are just going to get tossed. And I also have a 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice. Now the recipe calls for 1 the juice of 1 lemon, which is approximately 1/4 cup, but I don't use real lemon in my jellies. I've always been taught that the acidity it can be off, so I just feel safer using bottled lemon juice, and that's what I'm going to use. So here is our tea, and I'm going to go ahead and add our lemon juice, and then I'm going to turn this on like a medium-high heat, and then I'm going to come over here and grab my pectin, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. Now, my pectin, the recipe calls for 6 tablespoons. I used 8, and I'll tell you why. I have made several of these jellies now using a tea. I've made white clover jelly, and I have made dandelion jelly, and the set on a jelly using tea, which is what we're using because we steeped our flowers, is a much softer set. And I am looking for a bit of a firmer set on this jelly. I want to use this on crackers. I also want to be able to use it on poultry and on pork. So I'm using 8 tablespoons. It's up to you on what you use, but I am good with 8 tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to blend this pectin in until there's no lumps. And I'm going to bring this mixture to a boil. And when it comes to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add our 4 cups of sugar. But when we get to that point, I will bring you guys back and I'll show you the next step. Okay guys, so this is at a rolling boil that I can no longer stir down. So I'm going to take my 4 cups of sugar and I'm just going to slowly add it in. Grab my whisk. And I want to bring this back to a boil that I cannot stir down. And once we're there, I want a firm set. So I'm going to go ahead and boil this at a rapid boil for 4 minutes. And then we are going to be done. But let me just tell you guys, my kitchen smells like an English garden right now. It smells so good. And I cannot wait to taste this jelly. I am super excited. I've been wanting to make this for so long. This was my mom's favorite flower. So I am just super excited. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. So I'm going to go ahead and keep whisking it. I'm going to wait till it comes to a rapid boil that I can't stir down, which means when you stir it, it's still boiling. And then I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes. If you want a looser set, you'll do 2 minutes, but I want a firmer set, so we're going to do 4. All right, guys, I will be back when this is ready to can up. All right, guys, we are ready to can this up. So let me get you situated on my tripod, and I apologize for the noise. That's my central air working full blast because it's about 85 here today. Alright, so there is my canner. I have my jars in there. I have my my scoop in there. Everything is nice and sterilized, which is really important when you water bath can. Okay, so let me get my tongs here. And we are going to go ahead and do 1 jar at a time. The least amount of time that your jars are exposed to the elements, the better. And let me make sure that you guys can see this. Alright, I'm going to get my scoop out. And this jelly here is absolutely beautiful. Okay, let me get my funnel out of the hot water. Woo! And everything is very, very hot. And then we're just going to go ahead, fill this up. Alright. Sorry about that. We have kids coming home from school and all of that. So it says a pour, you want to fill this to about 1/4 of an inch. even though there's nothing to tap down, I just want to make sure there's no air bubbles in this at all. And I'm going to bring out another jar. Be able to put my funnel on. That's just how I like to process my jars. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I have some vinegar here. I'm going to wipe the rim. Be very careful, it's very hot. You want to make sure your rims are nice and clean. And then go ahead and grab a lid, grab a ring. These have been sitting in simmered jars. And I'm going to grab a towel. So you're going to crank it down fingertip tight, and I will show you the jar. It is so beautiful, guys. And of course, depending on the flowers that you use, because I believe lavender comes in more of a purple color, sometimes it's more of a pink color. So I think it would just depend on what you're using. Go ahead and fill this up. And I bet you this recipe is like the blueberry pie filling, where when they say exactly 5.5 pints, they mean exactly 5.5 pints. So I don't know if I will, and I can already tell this is setting up really good. This is going to have a beautiful set. So I want to make sure all my air bubbles are out. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out another jar. If I don't have enough to fill all 5 half pints, because with all that boiling, you know, water evaporates. If I don't have enough, then one of these jars will just go and sit in my fridge, which is fine by me, because I will have it tomorrow morning on some toast. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the rims here, and then let's get a lid on it, and a ring. Hot, 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 like candy. Molten lava. Hot. Fingertip tight, and there is jar 2. So I'm not going to bore you guys. I'm going to keep going here and get all my jars in, and when I'm done I will bring you guys back and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, I'm going to show you. You can see my bowl is scraped, and I'm going to show you what I was left with. This is my 5th half pint, and you can see I am about a 1/2 inch shy. So when I make this again, I'm going to increase my tea to 4 cups instead of 3.5 cups water. I'm going to use 4 cups of water, and that way that will kind of even out you know, the dissipation of your water when you make this. So that's fine. This will go right into my fridge, and it will also be the taste tester. When Matt comes home, he can taste it and he can tell me what he thinks. So I'm going to go ahead and still put a lid on this and a ring on this, and then I'm just going to let this sit on my counter and cool before I go ahead and add this to my fridge. But as you can see there, it is absolutely beautiful, and it's unlike any jelly I've tasted. Now it does have, of course, some lemon flavor to it because we put lemon juice in it, but it's very fragrant, and I think this is going to be fantastic on pork, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So alright, I'm going to aim you up here, and as you can see, I have my 4 jars in this water bath canner. My heat is too high now. It's already boiling. So I'm going to lower my rack gently. It is already at a rolling boil. I'm going to tip you up just to show you real quick. Okay, that's what you want. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on. I'm going to set my timer. Now for my elevation, this processes for 10 minutes. It's going to differ the higher up you are. I'm in Michigan, so make sure you find out where your elevation is for your proper processing time. I will leave the link down below to the recipe that I've used, so you can check out the chart that they have there. So 10 minutes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my heat, and I'm just going to let these sit for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to bring them out of the canner. So I'm going to set my timer and get these going. And I will see you guys back here. Here's my timer. Like, where are you, timer? I'm going to set time 10 minutes. I'm going to take a look at it real fast first before I do that. Just to make sure it is to a rolling boil, and it is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, press start. I'm not going to touch this again for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, when my timer goes off, I'm going to turn it off, set in the timer for 5 minutes, let it sit. And I'm going to come back and bring them out, and when I get to that point, I will bring you guys back and show you what they look like. Alright guys, so it has been 10 minutes processing, 5 minutes resting, and now it is time to bring these jars up and out and take a look at how they did, and they look beautiful. Oh. So pretty. And they're already popping. And then I have my one that's going to go in my fridge. And there you have it, guys. Let me take you off of this. And you guys can have a better look at this beautiful lavender jelly. Wasn't that fun? Something completely unique and different, and not something you find on your grocery store shelf. And I think this would make a fantastic gift at Christmas time, especially if you're, you know, if you need a hostess gift or something like that. It's just unique. It's different, and I absolutely love it, and it tastes amazing. It is unlike anything else I've ever tasted. It's very aromatic, very fragrant, and it does have a touch of lemon on it, but the lavender on it is very strong. So I think it's going to be fantastic on pork and on chicken, and I can't wait to even have it with cream cheese on a bagel. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was so much fun to do, and thank you guys for tagging along with me and doing this with me. So if you guys give this a try, make sure, especially if you record it, put your link down below to your channel. That way other people scrolling through the comment section can find your link and find your channel, find your video on making lavender jelly. But if you make it, let me know what you think. It's definitely completely different than anything that I've made. Much different than even the clover or the dandelion. It's much stronger, and my house smells incredible. Matt is going to walk through the door and say, "What did you cook?" And I cannot wait for him to taste that. I hope this was a lot of fun for you, and I will see you guys back soon, because like I said, I have other canning videos I want to do. I have beans on my list, and I probably won't get to those tomorrow because it's going to be, I think, 94 here, but maybe Sunday if it cools down. So alright guys, I will see you back in a little bit, and have a great weekend. Bye guys.